Good morning. Thank you very much, John, and thank you very much, Danny, and to IBEC for the invitation to come speak to you. I can't see anybody, and not being the media darling type CEO that you alluded to earlier, I was relieved to find out what the functions of the buttons on the tables were. I had this image that it would be an X Factor type engagement where we'd be voted off if we bored you for more than a minute. So I'm glad it's not that. What I wanted to talk to you a little bit about was how culture, internal behavior, values and strategy for high performance are important to me. I guess it's a bit of a mouthful. What I wanted to say to you is that when I was asked to speak on this topic of reputation being the key to sustainable business prosperity, the more I thought about it, I said, well, yes, indeed, it is a key to sustainable business prosperity, but it is perhaps not the key. And I'd like to share with you a little story about what that means, if I can figure out how the pointer works. Here we go. So I think reputation is hugely important, as we've already heard. It is a necessary condition for sustained business prosperity, but it's perhaps not sufficient. Let me just tell you a little bit about Intel in Ireland, first of all. That's the campus there. We're celebrating 25 years of Intel in Ireland this year. It's what you see there represents over $8 billion worth of capital invested. It's arguably the most advanced technology campus in Europe. It's certainly one of a handful of such facilities on the planet. We're very proud of it. I often find, and I can't see you as I said, I often find people's eyes glazing over when I talk about technology nodes and capital dollars invested and so on. I notice some of my colleagues from Aramark are here, and they won't mind me quoting the fact that maybe this will impress you a little bit more. We serve almost 8,000 meals every day out in Leixlip. And there's a company in Galway that supplies us with our sausages, and there's 2,500 of those consumed every day. Or maybe 200,000 cups of coffee every month, if depending on what you want to put it. But no matter what metric you use, it is quite a phenomenal impact. It's quite a phenomenal place. It's a world-class operation competing on a world-class stage. So I wanted to share a little story about that with you. I got the job as the general manager in about 2010. And at that time, Intel had served about 20 years in Ireland, and it had an unparalleled reputation. We had supplied half the world's supply of Pentium processors from that location. We had, our employees had delivered at world-class levels right across the company. I suppose it's fair to say our reputation was second to none. And so it was a very, very difficult thing that I had to grapple with in 2010, a real crucible of leadership, if you will, to realize that I had to close one of the businesses that are on that site. You know, obviously that's a very impactful thing for the people that work there. But it also confirmed for me that without anything that was guaranteed to follow, reputation didn't count for anything at that point in time. In fact, the rhetoric was, didn't we have a great run? Wasn't it fantastic? Didn't we do really well? But for those of us that are vested in its ongoing success, it wasn't sufficient to guarantee future business prosperity. So what did we do? When Intel was investing in Ireland, we know that it has choices around the world of where it can invest, and we know that it does have world-class process technologies. And you can deploy that essentially anywhere on the planet. Equally, it needs world-class infrastructure, and there are many countries and geographies around the world where that is provided. What we really needed to add to that, and I recognized this almost 15 years ago, is that we needed to have a way of doing business in Ireland that set us apart. That was our real competitive advantage. It was the way we were going to approach the challenges that we had to take that world-class process technologies and investment and those world-class products and do them in a way that gave us, by the culture, a reputation as second to none. And in my travels, I came across this work. And to give it its due credit, it's a work by Andrew Campbell and Laura Nash. And this work was done in 1987. And it was done in the Ashridge Strategic Management Centre, just north of London. And it was done as a sponsorship from companies that you won't find them in the tech sector. They're Marks and Spencers, Bulmers, Johnson & Johnson, to name but a few. And what they were trying to figure out way back then was what made a successful mission, or as the title of the book says, what was defining direction for the large corporation all about? Essentially what it meant was that you had to have strong connections between your purpose, your values, your strategies, and your behaviors. Now, there's a lot in that, and what I wanted to point out to you with this slide was that I started this work back in 1999. In 2000, we started to play with it. You'll see what's depicted on the timeline there is a little graph of something that we would have put into conference rooms out in Leixlip. You can see that it has evolved over the years. We've made lots of mistakes with it. We actually contacted the original author and had him come over and talk to us about what his research meant and what did he see. And you can see how it evolved over the years to what we're using right now. There's our mission for 2014. I know you can't read it, and the important point is not really what's the detail that's on the page here, because that's something for a different day, a lot more time we would need to spend on that. But I want to show you that for the last 15 years, we have been carefully investing in the way it is around Intel in Ireland, the way we work, how it is that we behave every day in facing the challenges that we have to deal with, how we interact with each other, and how we deliver results. And let's just talk for a minute about what sort of results they were. Here's a picture from inside one of the clean rooms. And having had the unenviable task of having to close one of these facilities, as I said, with no guarantee of anything to follow, in January 2011, you may have seen the announcement that we began the rebuilding and the reinvestment program in Leixlip that has continued to this day and is continuing. And we are getting ready to deliver more of those world-class leading-edge products to the world from Leixlip. And so, I've said we're 25 years in Leixlip, and here's to the next 25 on that basis. But that really strong capital investment has done something also, provides us with a foundation with which to approach our work. And some of the operational results that I'll share with you here are quite phenomenal. If I asked you to consider improving your operational performance in speed by 10, 15, 20%, I think you'd agree they're impressive goals and important to deliver. But in fact, in Leixlip, we improved our operational speed, the time it takes us to get something done, from start to finish by over 300%. Our production costs down by over 50%. And yield, which is a hugely important aspect of our business, was virtually flawless now. And to think that we deliver those results by the focus on the behaviors was something that was quite a revelation to me. From that solid base of capital investment, that culture was allowed us to expand into other areas. There's a bridge that you'll all be familiar with from outside, but this was a slide shown by the president of Intel at the Intel Developer Forum in San Francisco late last year. And it was a shout out to an advance that Intel is taking with cities all over the world to turn them smart. The people interacting, the facilities and infrastructure provided in those cities. This is an active collaboration between the Intel labs that are based in Leixlip and Dublin City Council. I'm just going to show you that this culture that we talk about shaping led us to have this sort of capability and skills been deployed from Leixlip. This next one has received quite a bit of public note. I'll just take a minute to explain that a few years ago, we had the opportunity to create a small bunch of people to go designing a product for Intel. It was very, very much a skunkworks project, very much out of the norm. We had 25 years of excellent reputation, as I said, for manufacturing the world's most complicated parts on the planet. What this allowed us to do was to set up this small team, and we developed this product that was launched just a couple of weeks ago, and it's called the Galileo board. You'll see the little darker black piece in the middle. I don't know if there's a laser pointer on here. Yeah, this one here is the microprocessor that we designed. We deployed it on this board called Galileo, and if I could draw your attention to this little thing that we managed to sneak in on the board called Designed in Ireland. And again, to emphasize the importance of this, for those of you that might be familiar with our product lineups, Intel provides high-end performance computing for servers and data centers that we call the Xeon, for laptops and desktops called Core i5, i3, i7. For the Atom, our Atom line goes into tablets, smartphones. And now we have this product family called Quark. And so from this small cultural attribute and this emphasis in Leixlip, we've managed to create only the fourth and the most recent entire product family for Intel Corporation worldwide. And we're sold out on this product so far, and it's going really, really well for us. And so what really, really created that for us was that culture. And it's a different talk that we could have about more detail on the 15 years of shaping that organizational culture. But if I was to give you one lesson that I learned, I think we all as CEOs like to think that it's our job to come up with the clever strategy to win in business. And that is true. We are largely responsible for the formation of that and the execution of that strategy. But what my story has learned, or what I've learned from my story and my experience, was really to focus on the internal behaviors of the organization is what gave it its forward momentum. For it to take traction, for your strategy to take traction, for it to implement it, and for it to surprise you in terms of its results. It was the focus on the behaviors that really made that possible for us. Oops. I just have one more slide, if I can get those back, please. Thank you. Oops. Okay, got it. So, okay, I'm only going to touch it once more, and once more. Need one more slide, thank you. So, I think, ladies and gentlemen, in responding to the question, what is the key to sustained business prosperity, no doubt reputation is hugely, hugely important. It's our reputation that has been enhanced now that we're able to manufacture the world's most complicated products. We are now improving that reputationally, and we are demonstrating that we can design the world's most complicated products. We are proving that we can collaborate with government, with other industry partners, to do some really wonderful things from this corner of the woods and create our own Silicon Valley and engine of innovation and creativity here in Ireland. And so I submit to you that while reputation is important, that shaping the right culture for you and your organizations really is the key to sustained business prosperity. Thank you very much.